Yeah. Yeah. Three mics, one mission. Real men, real faith. Welcome to Beards, Bibles, and Brotherhood. Beards, Bibles, Brotherhood, yeah, we standing strong. Faith in the fire where the wicked gone. Pastor J bring truth, Pastor James bring flame. Mark in the middle saying Jesus is the name. Iron sharpens iron, yeah, we live in that code. No soft talk here, just a narrow road. Beards, Bibles, Brotherhood, let it be known we don't walk alone. We don't walk alone.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Beards, Bibles, and Brotherhood. One of your co-hosts, Pastor Jay, with my trusty sidekick.
Pastor James.
And today, our brother Mark is at home because his wife is in the hospital. Kelly's battling cancer, so we need all the Brotherhood prayers we can get for that. We're going to be holding a fundraiser for her at the end of May, first part of June. We're ironing out the details right now, but we hope you guys will join us. All of our listeners and families from the church and friends from the community will join us, try to lift up their family and give them some encouragement in this time of battle.
Yeah.
In fact, we're just going to take a pause real quick to pray for Kelly right now. Father, we just lift up Kelly and we pray that you would be healing her body, going to work automatically, immediately in this moment. Your hand of mercy is upon her, and that you would begin the healing process. And we pray this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Special guest today in the studio, the former but never forever former deputy mayor.
I'll be back.
We call him the Big Cheesemo. Charles
Plater.
Charles Plater. Don't call him Platter. He's a plater, not a platter. Even people who've known you mispronounce that.
Yes, they do. They
Wow.
kind of pause. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. And they know you.
They know who I am.
People are a little scared of you
I don't know why.
because you're a big man,
Yeah, but I wasn't always this big.
like Robin Big back in the day.
Big personality, too.
Yeah, you're just as large and in charge, bro. I love it.
That's me.
I love it. And my personal accountability friend and partner in ministry, our board secretary,
Ben Parker.
Ben Parker. That is not an alias. It sounds somewhat like it could be an alias.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, like Peter Parker's older brother, Ben, is here.
Yeah.
Did
I
you
get
get
that a
that
lot.
as a kid?
I get that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to stay close to your mic. You're gonna
Yeah, I'll
cut
try
out.
not to turn my head too much.
Yeah, we're like stiff necks here.
Can't
Jesus, that don't-
slouch. Just
I don't think we're supposed to be
helping my
stiff
posture
necked,
here.
You you can lift your little boom
Yeah,
up.
you can lift your boomer. Today, special episode. I'm pumped. Nobody else is as thrilled as I am. But we're going to talk about conspiracies. I don't know if that came through. Conspiracies. We're going to talk about conspiracies. Deep fakes. Things that are pretended to be real but are not real. Or things that are real but we try to pretend they're not, like Sasquatch. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Let's start with my favorite topic. Did we, the United States of America, did we land on the moon?
You want me to go first?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, go, bro.
In some form or fashion, I do believe it happened, but not at first.
So not in the 60s.
Not in the 60s.
Mm-mm.
I believe it was all done on a sound stage.
Yeah.
Some others believe also.
So you think there was a secret mission to the moon?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
That's
like
a safe answer.
Yeah.
like a
It's kind of-
covert
yeah.
mission.
Yeah. I mean, it was a race, a definite race between the nations to get there. For what they thought was up there to get to in a hurry, who knows? But yeah. I just can't see them sending humans up in a thin tin can and dropping them in one spot precisionally like that.
Mm.
Yeah. Ben?
I don't know. Charles makes a good case there. You know, I'm not a big conspiracy theory person, but
Meaning you don't
I'm
believe in
probably
any of them?
I'm probably in the middle. I got a lot of reasons why people believe in conspiracies I can talk about. But, you know, as far as the moon landing, you know, that's a pretty good take, Charles. I would say, you know, there is a lot of evidence, moon rocks and things like that, that people
are
use
they
as the
moon
counter
rocks?
argument.
I got some rocks in my back.
You know,
Are they
So-
moon rocks or are they
And
just well
Mars.
crafted?
to Charles' point, maybe they didn't come in the 60s. Maybe we got those later. I don't know when they showed up, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of moon rocks that they're showing kids nowadays.
And then our resident government co-sider.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a pretty patriotic person.
Yeah.
And maybe prior to serving the United States government, I was all for whatever the government said. They must be right. Few trips to Iraq and a little bit of time in the Army, and I don't trust the government as much as I used to. And the older I get, the less I trust institutions. But I think since Pastor Jay is about to try to obliterate the argument that we did land there, we talked about the moon rocks, but there are supposedly reflectors on the moon that even non-U.S. Observatories still use to measure the distance of the moon to the Earth. And Charles may have a point. They were secretly placed there by Space Force before Space Force was a thing. But short of the Space Force Navy SEALs sneaking to the moon, somehow we got those things there.
Now, listen, I'm not saying we can't launch things in outer space. Elon Musk has proven that it's capable. We can get into the upper atmosphere. We can break into we can make it through the Van Allen radiation belt, right? With something, with objects. The fact that we sent humans there, impossible. First of all, in the 1960s, we were already behind most other major companies or countries when it came to the space race. We had nothing on them. Russia was launching all kinds of objects into outer space, right? And we were the Cold War was kicking off. We needed a little clout. We needed a win. We needed a victory. Now, you're going to tell me now hang on, let me preface this. In 1996, I wanted to drive from California to Illinois. I didn't have a tape deck in my car. I didn't have a CD player, none of that stuff, right? So I was listening to FM radio. And in 1996, we did not have an FM transmitter capable of covering the entire North American continent. It couldn't do it. There's no FM transmitter that could go coast to coast. You couldn't even pick up full FM channels in parts of New Mexico. It was just dead air, right? They couldn't broadcast through that section with an FM broadcaster. So you're going to tell me we can't span the United States, but we can span from here to the moon?
250,000 plus miles away.
Yeah. We can get up all the way up there to hear them talking. And all the news feeds were like, hey man, let us plug into the live feed so that we can broadcast crisp, what crisp was back then, right? Crisp black and white, right? And they're like, no, what's going to happen is we're going to project it onto the wall and you guys can film the projection. Come on, man. Come on, that's a plug and play. They're not gonna trust them, right? So these people are so professional that they don't trust news companies not to hack their system. Essentially, is what they're worried about, right? Somebody getting this footage in its raw status. They're so tight on security at this event that they lost the film.
Yeah, conveniently.
They're so tight on security that they lost the film, right?
Yeah.
So those are just a few things. The flag, come on, man. You could tell that thing's being blown by a fan. Like, nothing else blowing around, no dust in the air, just the flag all of a sudden starts waving. And so patriotic, man. It was like, pop, 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 pop. Come on, bro. There's just too many things that weren't real. And the latest AI videos have enhanced it to where you can see the wire guides on the astronauts. And people are like, oh, that's not what that is. There's no stars in the sky. You're going to tell me on the moon there's no stars? You go into my house in Nichols, you see stars. You can't take a picture without seeing a star. But not from the moon, apparently.
So it was said that they recruited some people who are good in the film industry to set something up
Yeah, the most elaborate setting ever.
on a soundstage. I mean, there's a movie called Capricorn One. I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. That was a
You-
good one.
That was good. That was
That
good.
was good.
You know,
You can't watch it and come away going, "Okay, we
Yeah.
landed on the moon."
Yeah.
I mean, now
Facts are
we
facts,
have
man.
the
Facts are
technology in,
Yeah.
in our phones is 1,000,000 times greater than the technology that they had to put that whole thing
facts. Let's
together.
just take this last trip to the moon. They're talking about how beautiful it is, right? They're like, "Look at the moon; it's so beautiful." Well, turn your camera around. Let everybody see the moon.
That's actually the first thing I thought. I'm like, we want to see the dark side
Yeah.
of the moon.
Yeah, flip the camera,
Yeah.
bro.
So I guess they had to wait until they come back and airbrush
classified.
parts out of it
Yeah,
that
it's classified.
we're not supposed to see.
All right, James.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, bro.
Or airbrush those footprints in it that we're supposed to see.
You've already went to their side.
You already swung up.
So
I'm just putting it out there.
yeah,
Let's see
yeah.
what happens.
I'm using Elon Musk's AI Grok to look up these things
Improve
as you
your
bring them up. Yeah, because I honestly don't have a lot of patience to even spend brain cells on a lot of this.
That's what they're hoping for.
Yeah,
They're hoping for that.
But I'll say that Elon actually agrees with you, Charles, although he thinks that we did land on the moon in the 60s, but also that we have secretly been back many, many, many times, and said that in several interviews in the last 10 years. But as far as reception, according to Grok, large ground stations with massive parabolic dishes received the weak signal being transmitted, and lists the Goldstone Deep Space Station Communications Complex, the Honeysuckle Creek Complex, and the Parks Observatory. So
What about the ham radios
Yep.
operators? They receive that also.
let's ask Grok.
Yeah, because it is said that the transmission was cut for like 2 minutes because something was said that they didn't want the public to hear, but they forgot about the ham radio operators who can pick up that.
So there's where
transmission.
my conspiracy is a little bit more in line with human nature. I mean, why would we want to go to the moon? It's got to be because we think there's a way to make money off of something there. And, you know, the Iraq war side of things, there was all kinds of sneaky stuff that happened in Iraq, but it was all around money. It was, you know, let's go get the yellow cake uranium that
Some
Iraq is
mineral
hiding there,
deposits.
and then we'll ship it over to Canada and sell it on the market. And there'll be one news story that runs about it. Then we'll never talk about it again. But billions of dollars of yellow cake uranium got pushed out of Iraq and sold. And so,
Well, then there are those who
So you
think
under-
of.
so now you understand why we had to get to the moon first.
yeah.
Well, people
Yeah, I
also
mean-
think that there was like alien technology that was left up
Well,
there.
now we're in Alien.
Yeah, that's part of the
Could be.
conspiracy.
Could be.
So what, you think Area 51's legit?
According to Bob Lazar, yeah, he worked there.
What do you think?
Area 51.
Yeah, what do you think? Aliens?
I don't believe in aliens. No,
None.
no.
Really?
Another
Illegal
intelligent life
aliens?
form. No, but
That's
mean-
another conspiracy. We're going to avoid that one.
So, in all of the alien stuff, I think we're probably more likely in Cold War type interactions with other nations, and they're using technology that we're not super familiar with. Like, how many spy balloons did China send over the United States in the last 2 years? And
Flew them right over.
yeah, I've got military friends that were in the military in the 80s and 90s that talked about all the wild stuff that Russia would do during the Cold War, you know, sneaking subs up on the American coast and things like that. And it's a whole lot easier to calm the public down and make them think it's little green men than maybe to actually admit that we're on the verge of blowing each other up on a daily basis.
Or
Yeah.
that the United States is vulnerable.
Yeah,
yeah,
that too.
it's this imaginary enemy over there, not the enemy right at your door.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, back to the human nature thing, back to the moon landing is, how would you explain? Because this is your conspiracy, right? Is that there's over 4,000 people that worked on the project, so just human nature, right? I can't get if 3 of my kids try to fool me, there's one weak link, right? I'm gonna get one of them.
Oh, I can't keep a secret longer than 10 minutes.
I mean, that's one of the, for me,
I think
The
the
human nature
entire
side of
room
things,
believed what
4,000
they were
people.
watching.
4,000 people. None of them spilled the beans.
No, I think the entire launch control, all of those people believed they were watching what we were being sold.
So when you're leading up to this, when all the technology and everything is being assembled for this one feat, you have 100 people working on this project. So 100 people are working on individual projects. They're not being told what the other 99 are, not being told what this. So everyone is working on one component for this project. Then there are a select few that put all these components together. So you have roughly 10 people who know what all of this is the puzzle that the picture is going to be at the end of this. But the other people, they just worked on this one piece.
And when you get into the mindset of military in the 60s, 70s, 80s, probably 90s, the military was not soft until the 2000s. In the 2000s, the military started getting softer. People started to like, oh, I feel left out, or I'm not included, and then and after 2010, that's when it got like, hey, let's just hold hands and sing. Like, when we march, let's march holding hands. Like the military prior to that, there was a code of ethics and integrity that I can just say this confidently. I was in a group of 19 men when an incident happened that nobody knows the truth about but the 19 of us. Not our wives, not our kids. And we will die with the story that happened there. And that's the way it's going to be.
But the motivation there is maybe brotherhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Looking out for your brother. But, I don't know if that really translates or applies to like this kind of thing. You know what I mean? I agree with the duty-driven.
Well, they're not going to
thing,
have like
but,
random Joes in there doing this. They're going to have top-tier CIA guys.
It just...
You don't shoot a president while he's driving in a motorcade.
That's another. That's a different conspiracy.
now that's one I can get behind.
Yeah.
I get
that one.
And have leaks. It just doesn't happen. There's no leaks. The leaks are taken care of.
Well, it was so easy back then to be able to pull the wool off over people's eyes because today everyone's a reporter.
Mm.
There's technology right now that it's hard to keep a secret. So.
Yeah, but the flip side of that is I think the pendulum has swung really far in the other direction. Now it's really easy to fake things and pretend that they're real.
You can't believe anything your eyes see.
Well, I think that's why there's more conspiracy theorists now.
Yeah.
Because
everything's a conspiracy.
Jay could make a video tomorrow and then
there'd be a million conspiracies in it.
Yeah.
He probably has. Yeah.
I mean, we're getting our information from AI right now, so it's that's part of it.
Well, I mean, it's where you go first because all the info gets pulled together instead of searching millions.
But
of
someone
things.
writes that algorithm.
But they're starting to show that algorithm is vulnerable.
Yeah, it is vulnerable,
and it can be.
It's selective. It can be selective.
It can be, and I'll be honest with you, like ChatGPT sometimes has more of a liberal slant towards it, like a more liberal kind of approach to some of the answers, and you have to kind of filter through and go, okay, take out your liberal bias, and it'll be like, okay.
Well, it's like a lot of knowledge without wisdom or without the ability to problem solve. So on simple things, AI is great, but when you give it something complex, and there's been studies on this, that when you give it something complex and it doesn't know the answer, it fabricates an answer.
Yeah.
Right.
And those things, that's where it's scary.
I've had deep theological arguments with Grok. Like, just go to do basic studies to get ready for a sermon, and Grok will give me some very generic answer, and I'm instantly like, yeah, but what about this Bible verse? Are you sure about your answer? And then it's constantly recalculating to develop a theology because it doesn't really know.
No. And it's not programmed. Well, you take out the human element of anything and it's going to fail.
Yeah.
It's honest truth, right? Like you can't deprive intellect from, you can't withdraw compassion and, emotion from intellect and have something left that's valuable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to miss one side or the other. And it's like people are like, we're going to have AI judges one day. No, we're not. No, we're not. Watch the movie Mercy if you want to see what that looks like.
That's scary.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
Yeah. Well,
But-
getting back to the moon thing. I mean, there's certain things. It's just hard to believe. Like it's hard to believe. Like after they launched this new telescope that can see like light years away, crystal clear pictures, but yet, if they're trying to find somebody who shoplifted in Walmart and they show you that picture, it's so grainy. I mean, come on, I can't believe
Is that Buster Douglas?
I can't believe that they don't have the technology. I mean, the first thing I wanted them to do, because when I was a child, I lived in books with the stars, just was amazing to me. And they had this thing called the Face on Mars, and they showed that back in the 70s. I was like, ooh, when they launched this space telescope, I'm like, point it at that, please. First, look at that. And they did. And I think some airbrushing
Yeah.
went along with that.
Yeah. Well, it was proven, not that I'm an iPhone person, but I am, that Samsung phones were actually putting in pictures of the moon when you would zoom in. That's a
Like
conspiracy theory that's out there.
I'm just, dude.
Because it's
too
just
too much.
faking technology. They want to have the next, the best, most advanced, thing, and it's a race,
Yeah.
and in races people cheat.
And information is the key. I mean, there's so much information out there. What can you believe? I mean, like involving the moon, right? Some people think, well, is it really a planet, or is it this hollow moon theory? Is it a satellite? Was it brought to our solar system to act as a planetary thing? I
That's no moon. It's a space station.
and you think it's from Star Wars, the Death Ray star
Yeah.
thing. But
So
they-
why do we love
wait,
conspiracy?
but
theories?
there is a fact that there was some kind of space capsule that they released and let it crash into the moon on purpose, and when it did, it rang like a bell for an hour. And they did it again, and it did it for 2 hours. This thing just rang like a bell, like it was hollow, and that's what jump started this hollow moon theory.
I've
There's a lot
never
of
heard of the
information
hollow moon
Yeah, I
theory.
haven't either. Interesting.
So, are you a flat earther too?
Am I who?
A flat
No.
earther. I wonder if hollow moon and flat earth go together. So,
Well, you get flat earthers; they get serious, bro.
People
We're gonna
do-
have one on in a couple
Yeah.
weeks.
People do like walking on the edge.
We are gonna have one on in a few weeks. So he's loaded. He's downloading stuff here purposely. He's like, I'm gonna give you guys some books to read. I was like, wow, bro, we don't read books. You're gonna give me the Clef Notes or whatever they're called. Ben, why do you think people are so interested in conspiracy theories?
So, one of my things about conspiracy theories and is that people are very unsettled. People are very unsettled and anxious, and that's where they find some solace. You know what I mean? Because people have an unsettled spirit, and we'll bring it to the spiritual side of things. People have an unsettled spirit, and they're anxious, and it's easier to say, well, this is the reason that I'm anxious or fearful or don't trust anybody, or because look at this. There's these huge conspiracy theories out there, and you can't believe anything. But, from a spiritual perspective, they're really unsettled spirit. You know what I mean? And what they really need is Jesus, but they replace it with these theories. They replace it with conspiracy theories and the reason I lack trust, the reason I live in fear, the reason I'm anxious, is because the world is a scary place. And maybe that's true, but also you can't believe in anything. Nothing is worth believing in or putting my trust in. And then that brings him into this headspace of not trusting anything and then running to conspiracy theories and grabbing onto conspiracy theories when honestly, from my perspective, it's fear and anxiety, and the only thing that's going to settle that is faith, in God. But it's a lot easier, you know what I mean, to grab onto these other things.
And I think, from my perspective, I didn't grow up in church, so I didn't come to church till later in life to like be in church. And I think that it's easier to say that the church backs a cover up than it is to say someone just failed
mm-hmm.
or, or this is not true. Right? Well, they would rather believe that it's a cover up than believe that that people are lying.
Hmm.
right? So there's all that. I don't know. It's like a flowing toxicity that we kind of keep it bubbled up and stirred up. And there's excitement in the did you know, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I got info that no one else has, right? And I think that probably was the way Jesus was at first,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I'm hardwired to be a doer. So my issue with conspiracy theories is more we can't do anything about it. Like we could sit around and talk about this stuff, but is it going to make the world a better place? Like what if we did fake the moon landing? What's that going to do for America? What's that going to do for my life? And even in our personal lives, when we elevate things to these conspiracy theories, it almost allows us to let go of responsibility of doing anything to make the situation better. Because if I say, well, the government faked all of this stuff, we can't beat the government because they lie about everything. So let's just unplug from the whole process. I don't need to be a citizen. I don't need to vote. I'm just going to go take my libertarian, don't tread on me flag, hang it on the front porch and start. I'm a libertarian, by the way, Charles. So, uh, but even in our personal lives, elevating things to that level also makes it easy for me to say, I don't have to do anything about this. I don't have to investigate it. I don't have to talk to people and engage them in conversations. I can just share the conspiracy, share the rumors, and go on with my life instead of doing the hard work of trying to build community and be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean that's what's funny about this. I like the moon landing conspiracy personally, but I don't care about it that much. Like when people are like, "No, it was absolutely real," I'm like, "Okay." And if I was in the room with Buzz Aldridge and he was like, "Bro, I stepped on the moon," I'd be like, "Pound it out, big dog! Like you stepped on the moon, cool." Like
Yeah.
because it doesn't really affect my day to day life,
Mm.
and and I understand why we would have faked it, but I also understand like, man, maybe it happened. Like, you know, it, it's it segues into my other favorite conspiracy, which is Sasquatch. How are you going to say that's not real? Do you think man has discovered all there is to discover?
No.
No.
Okay, then you have to plausibly say that a Sasquatch could be real.
Say that.
Could be. Like, but
Possibility and assurance is two different things.
like, I think it's more likely that somebody saw my hillbilly cousin walking around in the woods
Or you with your shirt off, just chilling out in the
Oh,
woods.
man.
than an actual humanoid that's just camped out there. I mean, I know there are some deep places in America that you can't get to, that maybe some things could be hidden, but we also have a lot of weirdos that love to go out into deep places. Like, with all of the end of the country, like post-apocalyptic theories, every hillbilly in this country is planning to go to the mountains and hide out somewhere. Like we all have the same escape plan. And I'm convinced we're just all going to be hanging out on the same hill trying to build a fire because none of us know how to do it anymore. Like,
Yeah, the off-grid thing is becoming more mainstream.
But
you know?
listen, this bashes your moon landing theory, because there's more than 4,000 people who will stand solid in the fact that they've seen a Sasquatch.
I just keep getting this image of that 1970s picture, the guy walking in the woods. It's grainy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically what the Sasquatch image is today. You see like a silhouette of it. It's that photo.
well, no, with AI today, Sasquatch and I could be hanging out eating s'mores at the campfire.
And then you plant one guy who has a cast of a Bigfoot. And he said, "Oh, it was me. I was out there putting prints in the world." Same thing with the crop circles. It was these old guys
Listen,
over
those
here
things-
walking around.
Bro, crop circles are real. You know where crop circles come from though. Bears. You ever seen a bear get in a cornfield? So if a bear goes into a cornfield, it will circle. They do that. One, that's their pattern is a circle. So they will break into a cornfield and they'll start eating the corn in a circle and they'll bed it down. And once they're done in that area, they'll walk to another area and they'll mat down a circle. So if you were to get an aerial view of probably most of the cornfields around here when they're standing in corn, if there's a black bear around that field, it will leave. Now, not perfectly symmetrical like the pictures that look like UFOs and stuff, but that's where the idea of like these mysterious circles came from. And folklore kind of made it more exciting to say it's aliens. And some guy gets out there with a sickle and whacks out a circle. And those get more and more precise now that, farmers don't even have to get in their combine. They can program everything and let it rip.
Combines, yeah.
They get in just for safety factors. But
Yeah, everybody likes a mystery, and that's basically what the conspiracy theories are. They want to be the first one to crack it.
Mm.
You know,
breaking the code.
yeah.
Well, and that goes back to my thing about the faith, is that people know there's something more than this. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, it's probably the flip side of the anxiety thing that I talked about, but people know there's something more than this, and they point to these other things because it's a lot easier for me to believe that in a crop circle or a little green guy, kind of like the enemy thing, right? It's a lot easier to believe in a little green guy
Mhm.
than a God who you have to face. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because once you start to believe in God, then you have to start to be accountable to Him.
Mhm.
Well,
And
think
we don't
about
want
it.
that.
Even
I
the
want,
church,
you
even the church has jumped on the conspiracy theorist bandwagon when we have entire denominations who have eliminated hell from the equation
Mm.
because it's just too scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much. Can't be real.
And there's the let's remove accountability again. The idea that I may have to face God for being rebellious to Him, for rejecting His Son, for not wanting a relationship with Him, and that I'm going to have to answer to God about that someday. I've got two that we didn't talk about that I've always liked though, and I think one of them's bogus and one of them's real. So I'll go with my real. I totally believe in the Loch Ness monster.
No,
Yeah.
you don't get the Loch Ness
Yeah,
monster.
Oh, yeah.
If you can't go for
Oh, yeah.
Sasquatch, you can't go for Loch Ness.
actually, this one's more believable.
So I actually think
yeah.
like a lot of on land space has been explored, but deep
Yeah.
ocean, deep lake stuff, we don't have the technology to get down there. And I think the Bible paints the picture, especially the oldest books in the Old Testament, that there were massive dinosaur-like creatures that walked the earth the same time humans did. And it's totally plausible to me that some of them have survived. Like, what is Behemoth in the book of Job? People try to say that Behemoth is a hippopotamus, and I read Job and I'm like, that is not a hippopotamus. Like, hippopotamus will do some damage to you, but that's not a hippopotamus that Job's talking about.
Listen, again, maybe.
And I see, with me, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. God knows what's in my heart. There's nothing that could rip that away from me, my belief. So therefore, I find it fun to delve into conspiracy theories
Mhm.
because I know where my roots are
Mm-hmm.
in my thought. So I find it fun to dig in and play with these conspiracy theories. And there are many.
Mm-hmm.
And like you had two that you believe in. There's one because I was born in 1963. I was alive when JFK was assassinated. That's the biggest conspiracy theory. Who did it? Was it the mob? Was it an inside thing? And I got my own theory about that. I think I cracked the case a long time ago, but people just don't want to see it. And you have so many different stories that I think the government invites that because what they're trying to hide.
Yeah, the more noise, the better.
The more
Mhm.
noise is better. And I think it was so simple that they're trying to hide that it was an actual embarrassment to our nation.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear this? You ready for this?
Mm.
I believe it was an accident. He was killed by friendly fire
Mm.
from the car behind. There was a Secret Serviceman who stood up, and this is fact. There's facts in this. He stood up with an AR-15. Am I saying that right? Back then,
Sounds
the
good
Secret
to me.
Service they had these
Some kind of
weapons.
long rifle.
When the first shot went off from the Books Depository building, they heard the sound. The Secret Serviceman stood up, and they have the gun already safety off.
Mm.
When the car lurched to go forward, he fell back.
Mm-hmm.
Trajectory, straight ahead. Who's in the first?
Now,
in
see,
the
I
car?
can buy that.
Who's in the
Yeah,
car
I
ahead?
can buy that.
The
Mhm.
president. That's why people smelled gunpowder
Mm-hmm.
on street level. You can't smell that from way up
Yeah.
there, right? That's why it echoed. People thought it came from the grassy knoll because the sound came from street level, right? So yeah, did he get off? Did Oswald get off 2 shots that were close? Yeah, he didn't get off 3 because they found 3 cartridges up in the room, but one of them was used to put in. So I don't know much about guns,
Mm-hmm.
but I know one is used to fill that chamber so that no dust gets in there, and that's taken out.
Mm-hmm.
So he got off 2 shots.
Mm.
That's my theory. So he was,
Hmm.
I believe, he was killed by a Secret Serviceman. It was a oops,
Yeah.
and that's oops is what the government has been trying to hide. So they welcome all these conspiracy theories. The
Mm.
mafia did it. The Cubans did it. Fidel Castro had something to do with it. They welcome all that stuff. The grassy knoll guy. There was 3 guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
muddy the water.
what they're trying to hide is something so simple. It's an embarrassment.
But you notice how these conspiracy theories change over time depending on who we want to be the enemy. Like today, if you get online, and I know this is going to irritate some people, but it's Israel that killed him because
Yeah, I just read that. Yeah,
yeah.
I just read that report.
we hate Israel so much right now that it
And
was
they
the
did
Jews.
9/11.
Yeah, they're Jews are behind every bad thing that happened all of a
Mhm.
sudden in the last 2 years. So
I just read a really long article about the dancing Israelis,
Mhm.
and that Israel was the sole beneficiary of 9/11. All right, one you believe?
A conspiracy theory, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not really a big conspiracy theory
No.
person, honestly. I mean, in terms of this cover up, I totally believe that. I totally believe that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that's conspiracy theory. That's more. It's
Got
more
my
just
cover up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
Can
it's.
I ask
I
you
guess
about
it's
one?
probably the word belief, right? Because
Mm.
I don't necessarily believe in them. I will dive into things intellectually, like what you said. The thing about your faith. You have faith that where you're grounded, right? So you have the ability to think intellectually about these different theories, but they don't hold any weight for you. They're not going to move you. You know what I mean? And you're not going to put your trust in them.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I am more that, like, I have that intellectual curiosity, which is not opposed to faith. I think it goes hand in hand. If you know where your truth lies, then you're not bothered by diving into these other things because
Right, you can
it's not
dabble
gonna,
in them and not be
Yeah.
controlled by them.
Well, you're a Bible scholar, Ben. So this is one that irritates me a little bit. Aliens made the pyramids in Egypt and all of these ancient buildings that have these giant stones that we don't have the technology today. Like, I love to study the Middle East, ancient Middle East, and compare that to the Bible. There are buildings there that we could not reproduce today. And our simple explanation for that, instead of admitting maybe ancient people were not cavemen and they actually might have been smarter than us.
Oh no, I think that's true. Actually, I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory,
But that's when people have to come up with explanations. How did we make the pyramids? We couldn't remake them today.
But those are power plants, right?
Yeah, I've heard that.
You know what's
Yeah.
fascinating?
They were
though?
there before the
Mm.
Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
What's fascinating is if you do any kind of historical study on Rome, it was light years
Mm-hmm.
ahead of civilization. Like the paved roads, the way the
Yeah.
roads were paved, the way the sewer system, they had an actual sewage system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way the water tributaries were separated, clean and dirty water, the filtering system through sand. Like, they came up with things that people were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And they were highly intelligent men, like highly intelligent.
I mean,
And
There was free energy. We had free energy
yeah.
a long time ago. I think Tesla was on the cusp of getting that back until he mysteriously died and all of his stuff
Yeah,
was taken.
Tesla's another
from
one.
us.
There's
to
another
bring
one.
up.
But that doesn't make money for the government.
Mm-hmm.
There's no money in that. We'd rather stay in oil because free energy. They don't like that word free.
Mm-hmm.
So, back to your ancient technology thing. Is the Tower of Babel an explanation that you would accept or not?
So, and Tower of Babel, I'm more on the Hanging Gardens a little bit, if we can talk about those. It's not so much biblical, but I geeked out on the Assyrian Empire about 4 or 5 years ago, and it shows up in the Bible a lot. We give Babylon a lot of credit for things. We give Rome a lot of credit for things. If you really do a deep dive into the Assyrians, they had
They were
technology
super smart,
that we'd
yeah.
never give them credit for. Like there's a distinct possibility that the Hanging Gardens were never in Babylon, that they were in Nineveh, and these guys had invented a I guess you would call it like a plumbing system or a pump. They made giant stone pillars that were shaped like palm trees. It had grooves in them, and they could spin these pillars and push water uphill. So they built this giant palace with fruit trees and stuff all along the top level, and they pumped water uphill to the top level so that that king of Nineveh could go walk around in a giant garden on top of his palace. But that's not the kind of history we get taught in school.
No, you don't hear about those things. The Indians were savages
Yeah.
compared,
Well, like the Aztec Empire too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
but we don't talk
there's,
about all the
you know,
technical advances they had, like all the, the Assyrians had a weapon that fired similar to a gun
Mm-hmm.
all the way back then,
Yeah.
like crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, their
Well,
tech-
history's written by the victors
yeah,
Well,
that's true.
Well, I was
to their liking.
I was taught that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb.
We all were.
You know, But
Everybody
there's,
was.
but there's a relief in Dendra of this on thousands of years old, and it's on there. It's a light bulb. You seen that? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if you Google ancient light bulb, this thing comes up. How do you explain that? How do you explain that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
The victor
snake
gets the
in a
spoils,
lotus
right?
Yeah.
blossom.
We were told Benjamin Franklin ran that key up on the kite, harnessed electricity.
Yeah, if that apple didn't fall on Newton's head, we wouldn't
Yeah.
have gravity. We'd be all floating around until then.
Crazy.
And for
Yeah.
me, a lot of this, especially the ancient stuff, actually helps confirm the Bible. Like, we've had centuries of humanist theory, and you'll still find it. Like, if you watch Big Bang Theory as a TV show, the basic idea that we're being taught is humans are evolving to become smarter, better, stronger. But the Bible depiction of humanity is Adam had to be the healthiest, smartest, best dude that ever existed. And we've been devolving generation after generation
Probably.
and accepting the possibility that ancient humans were smarter than us, that they were stronger than us, healthier than us. That's hard for us.
They were shorter. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're just joining us, we're on Beards, Bibles, and Brotherhood, and we've been talking conspiracy theories all day. And you might be like, what in the world does this have to do with a biblical perspective of life? Well, we're here to forge men of faith through real conversations, real struggle, real growth, men and women. And we're talking about this stuff because believe it or not, there are scriptures that teach us how to navigate our emotional responses to anything that you find out there that you question, that you wonder about, that you ask yourself, is this true or not? Could this be true? How do I know what's real and what isn't real? And I don't want us to get too far away from the fact that the Bible speaks to things like this when it says in Proverbs 18:17, the one who states his case first seems right until the other comes and examines it.
Yeah.
Right? That we're to test and examine things
Mhm.
to see what's true and what's good. And truth shouldn't be separated from the good, right? It would have a greater good in it, an outcome in it that is profitable to building the kingdom of God. So I don't want us to get so caught up in this stuff, but 1 Thessalonians 5:21 says, "Test everything and hold fast to what is good."
Mm-hmm.
And some things you don't need an answer for.
Yeah.
Your faith walk, you're going to encounter times when God doesn't give you a clear answer. Where the answer is maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And Christians don't love that. We want a yes or a no, right?
Yeah.
But maybe a maybe should be sufficient, and we let things ride. Sometimes some of the most uncontrolled situations in our life, some of the most chaotic times, are the times when we just press into God and say, I don't know where this is going. and I don't even like it. I'm uncomfortable, but I'm comfortable in who you are and the outcome that you're going to bring.
Yeah, I think the most freeing experiences of my life have been times where I could say, okay, I don't care what the outcome is here, God. I just want you to take control of the situation. Because when I have an expectation of what an outcome is supposed to be, that creates a lot of anxiety. That rattles my emotions and it makes me on edge. But when I can say, God, whatever you think is good here, I'm okay with it. It doesn't matter how it ends up. I'm just going to surrender this to you. And generally, you can find truth and reality pretty quickly when you can let go of your own preconceived notions or your need to control the situation and just say, okay, Holy Spirit, you move in this situation.
I think if there were more stiff penalties to buying into or to propagating rhetoric, people would stop. Right? Like if you knew the consequences were more severe, you'd be less apt to just throw things out to start fights, right? You'd be a little bit more like, would I stake my credibility as a Christian on being right?
Yeah.
Like, do you need to be right? What do you gain by being right all the time? I'm gonna just dabble for a minute. I'm draw you in here, Charles. You don't know this is coming, so please don't think of this as a setup. And if we have to cut it, we will. But I'm fully impressed with you, my friend. The way you handled the nonsense that occurred during the end of your political run was humbling and admirable. And even when you got frustrated, you let out a little frustration, but it wasn't. You didn't attack. You didn't use names. You didn't crucify. You didn't cry about the unfairness. You just said, I'll never forget what you said in the meeting. We've got to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, dude, that's the way to honor God. And I'm grateful to call you a friend, man. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Matthew 12:36, Jesus says, "But I say to you that every idle word that a man speaks, he shall give an account of on the day of judgment." Yeah, that's from Jesus. Like the things that
when you read that.
Yeah, the things that we say come from our heart. If we can't go before God and allow Him to challenge our heart and get our heart right so that the stuff that comes out of our mouth is pleasing to Him, I don't want to stand before Jesus and have to explain why I lost it with somebody in a parking lot somewhere over a parking space, which I've seen happen so many times. Like, in some cases, the things that we're willing to throw away our holiness before God for are silly. They're so small.
Well, all that time, Jesus was in my heart.
Mhm.
That's what guided me.
Mhm.
Because for that entire year, what I was going through outside of that, I was going through it.
Yeah.
You know?
You're in the fire, bro.
Yeah.
And I could not have made it through without attending every service. And I still haven't missed one Sunday.
Yeah.
Every service was like, it was talking to me.
Mm.
I think a lot of people feel that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah. And there's no way to explain that other than it was Jesus.
Yeah.
It was God. Like, things that, I mean, I could talk all day about this, but certain things happened, fell into place.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make this stuff up. There's no other explanation. And what happened to me was supposed to happen, I guess.
Amen, brother.
It was
Yeah.
supposed to happen to open myself up for greater things.
Mm-hmm.
I needed a step back. After 8 years, I needed a step back. I needed a breather.
Yeah.
And this was my way. This is God's way of, hey, you need a breather. You know, things are getting hectic. Maybe something's going to happen in that small time, and I didn't want me to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You know, when my situation happened, those were the only 2 weeks that I've taken off non-vacation wise in 18 years of ministry. Like, the only 2 weeks where I really didn't cheat. and do ministry. Because the rest of the time I just say I'm on vacation, I do ministry. I say I'm unplugging, I'm doing ministry. I'm thinking about church, I'm going back to church.
Yeah.
When you lose everything, you kind of like, I just thought about God.
Yeah.
Just thought
Yeah.
about my relationship with him. As more and more stuff kind of exploded, I just thought like, I don't have to answer to anyone but God.
Mm-hmm.
One day I'm going to have to stand before him and give account.
Yeah.
I just want to do it with a clean heart, man.
And April 1st was the official last day of my political run, and it was actually the first day of my vacation. I've never been outside of the state other than just to be here, right?
Mm.
Went to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Good old Tennessee.
Casino, Grand Ole Opry. I went to
Fort Campbell,
Fort- yep.
Kentucky.
I've seen things. I've seen I'm not even a Titans fan, but I've seen
Mm.
their new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I was like a kid in the candy shop just looking at stuff,
Yeah.
and it was just great. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, we went through Memphis. I'm like, why does it sound so familiar? Wait a minute. And I kept seeing Martin Luther King Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Boulevard or
Mm.
highway. I'm like, this is where it all happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've
That's
never
so
been through
awesome.
history before,
Yeah.
and I've actually driven through history.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
I don't want to scare you, buddy, but in God's normal planning of things, when He takes us through stuff like this, it's usually in preparation for something bigger.
Oh, I'm not scared.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. There's things that scare me, like
Mhm.
throw an asteroid at up. Kind of scared, but horror stories I laugh about. I laugh at them.
Here's a cool
So-
thing, though, that I want to. We got about 5 minutes, so I want to wrap this up with this idea. One of the things about conspiracy theories is they can mess you up. You can go down a rabbit hole. You can go. You can. I've actually seen people walk away from faith
Mhm.
because of things that they started reading on the internet that led them to just lose faith, and they walked away from God. And we as men and women in Christ, we need other people who are close enough to us to go, hey man, I'm worried about you. You're
Mhm.
going down a rabbit hole, and I think it's pulling you away from God. Like you're getting off focus, and you're missing what God has done for you and through you, and you don't want to lose sight of that, because it's easy to only focus on the negative and the bad and the fearful and the scary, but having that guy next to you that says, hey dude, don't forget, like, you've worked hard for God. He's honored you. You've honored him. Don't lose sight of that. Don't lose your credibility because you want to post something on the internet,
Mhm.
because you
Yeah.
want to make a comment to the press. Don't lose who you are, who he's made you to be, and who he's called you to be. So we want to remind you out there, conspiracy theories, have fun with them, but
Mhm.
don't take them so serious that they actually create division in your family or with your friends. It's not really worth it, because some of the answers are never going to get answered.
Yeah.
With just this side of heaven, we're never going to get the answer, and maybe in heaven, God will be like, "Well, I don't even care about that."
Sasquatch was real.
Well, but when you get up there and the Yeti sitting next to you, you guys are going to be like, "Dang, Jay was right." There's great value in small groups to be able to have conversations like this, to be able to ask, "Hey, I heard this, or I saw this. How's this match up with God's word? Where do I go to find this?" And to have brothers and sisters who point you in that direction. We call those our collectives here,
That's right.
and we're big on our collectives. We need more our collectives. Our collectives are filling up fast, and we want people to sit around and have great conversations. They don't always have to be deep theological debates. They can be conversations that wrap us back to the truth of who God is in our lives, in our community, and in our space. So we want to encourage you. Ask questions, get together, have breakfast with people, talk to people, ask your questions, your hard questions. Come up and see somebody worshiping in church and go, man, you seem like you're pretty close to God. Can you help me understand this? Because I don't get this. And we're not going to make up answers. We'll sit down with you and look in the Bible together.
Mm.
And man, God's doing cool stuff with Redeemed Community Church, with the community of Owego and Appalachian, and we're excited to see what the next chapter looks like. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
having us.
Thanks for we will have a posted up picture. Charles is beardless.
Yeah.
He's got a little something.
Little
trying-
stubble,
he's
but it's
trying
not
something,
beard.
But it's not a full blown beard. So he will be our first a bearded picture. He's gonna don the beard for the famous beard picture.
Yeah.
You're the inaugural.
There we go.
Nothing like being first. If you ain't first, you're last. You know what Ricky Bobby said. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Wherever you're at, whoever you are, whatever you've got going on, point yourself towards Jesus. Trust in Him. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Go in peace.
You are loved.
Pastor J got the word, cut clean like a blade, break chains off men that the enemy made. Pastor James got fire, yeah, he don't play safe. Call sin what it is, put it right in this place. Mark in the trenches, yeah, he been through the storm, trying to build up men, keep the brotherhood warm. Not perfect, just called, yeah, we fight every day, trying to walk like Christ in a world gone gray. Biz, Bible's brotherhood, yeah, we standing strong. Faith in the fire where the wicked gone. Pastor J bring proof, Pastor J bring flame. Mark in the middle saying Jesus is the name. Iron sharpens iron, yeah, we live in that code. No soft talk here, just a narrow road. Biz, Bible's brotherhood.